Hello, I'm trying a second little cast. I made one already yesterday. Mm, just went into random replays and I see Morax is playing live in WWPC under 1500. So, still a decent player skill, no top level, but I hope it will still be nice to watch. And he's playing against SilverKronos. I think Morax is a champion. I'm not 100% sure, I hope I don't say anything wrong. But I think he's a champion and SilverKronos is a challenger. And that would mean that this is SilverKronos' map choice. And the map is Riga 5, or Riga 4, or 6? Wait, okay, it's 6 actually. So, on Riga 6 Highlands, which I think had some nice games against Blackheart in the best of 15, where if anyone watches that could also see that if the game just lasts long enough, and it's easy to last long enough on this map because it's quite easy to defend your positions. Most of the mess is in this area and in the back here, and you can turtle that quite well and survive a long time. And then UEF has quite an advantage with Percival's because they're just so good. So I think SilverKronos has a good faction for this map, even so Morax with Cybran also has some powerful tools available, maybe Jester or DML somewhere, but I think he should rather try to get an advantage or even to win before it comes to Tech 3 stage. Maybe early Tech 3 is still okay, but once unit numbers go higher, then it will be really hard to defend against Percival's in equal numbers. But let's see what this guy do. I say SilverKronos is already expanding to the right with the ACU, going with only 2 pigeons in the air. Okay, I think that's very low energy, so it will work hopefully, but he won't be able to build too much after. I don't think he can build 4 land factories. He will need to build some energy as well. He will probably do that with one of the next engineers. But he will have a very fast expansion with a command to the mass and very safe. While Morax is doing that similar, also very low energy. I think when I did play this map, I did it different. I did build the hydro and then a bit energy before the air factory, so I could, after the air factory is done, build a lot, because you can see he got a lot of mass in the storage now that he can't really use because he doesn't have the energy for it. And if he built the energy before, or a little bit more pigeons, he could maybe build factories with 3 engines now or something like that. He also got that early mantis in the middle to secure the reclaim, but he's not sending an engineer to actually reclaim it if he secures it, but as well maybe he would definitely waste because he's outnumbered, has to treat his mantis, which he does successfully, and he will probably wait to team up with his third mantis and then fight that again. He tries already. Even so, that doesn't look like it's going to work. He attacked to half the strikers with 1 almost dead mantis and 1 full life. But meanwhile he's attacking with a bomber, while SilverKronos has interceptors, but they are in the middle, not in the base. So the bomber doing one very good bomb here, aiming for 3 engineers, killing 2 of them. Actually, it's not hurting SilverKronos too much right now because he doesn't even have mass to build, so it's not that hurtful for him as it could have been. He's overspending a bit mass on factories right now. He would maybe need to reclaim that stone, or try to reclaim these wreckages in the middle. After he secured them well, he sent in many units, so he got the control over the area. all he would need to do would send an engineer after so he can reclaim it. And after that the engineer can still expand. It's not really a bad question. You will not only get the mass, you will even get more mass extractors if you manage to secure it and not lose it. So Morax doing mirroring and doing the normal meta of this game to walk with your ACU here, then build a factory. So to prevent that, if you would just build the 3 mass extractors, directly walk here to reclaim, then maybe some units come through the side or through the middle and you will lose that just after you build it. So usually people like to build a factory here to secure that position. Now no one can take it. If a few units come, the factory will build enough units to defend it. Even if the mass extractors die, you can just build an engineer to build them again. And then you move on. And SilverKronos is a lot faster with that due to his fast SU movement. Even so he's not reclaiming. And looks like none of the players is really making a play for the high ground. Morax just made 1 transport, has yet to load it with engineers or maybe artillery to drop it here and kill the civilians with artillery. You can drop artillery or you just make a factory with engines that you drop here and then make artillery in that factory. But you have to kill this point defense before you can kill the mass extractors. And looks like he's actually trying something different. He's sending an engineer into the clutch to build a factory. That's very nice, I've never seen that. Does it work? I think it should work. Okay, that's really nice. While SilverKronos is not really trying yet to get the 3 mass extractors, and also if you make a transport you will also get this mass extractor. And maybe one of these mass extractors on the sides, which is also a very nice position for a radar. If you have one. And Morax is attempting to do that now. And he's building from 5 factories, just take 1. But he got 2 air factories, so he might get air control soon with 8 interceptors. 8 for SilverKronos as well, but in the midterm I would think that he would get air control, but no, SilverKronos also has 2 Tech 1 air factories, so and 1 land factory more. And he also reclaimed this already and expanded with his ACO. When battle now coming in the middle and Morax just pushing in with seems to be a little bit more unit, but also SilverKronos was not in a very good position. His army was split in 2 little armies, so Morax could kill the first half of it before even approaching the other one. So a clear victory for Morax, killing a lot of units, maybe at least 10, maybe 15 units without many losses, allowing him now to maybe split a few units. 3 or 4 mantis would be enough, raid these mass extractors, and he could maybe even try to push this, but SilverKronos already expecting that, making a point defense to defend this position and to secure it against the upcoming attack. And so Morax has Medusa in his armies now in theory. If he manages to kill this force, he could still push this and take out the point defense with his Medusa. But looks like this fight is quite equal, or even. Maybe slight advantage for Morax as well. He's trying to push in now, but now that's much better formation for SilverKronos. He's a tightly packed formation of units, so every unit of him are shooting. So no real loss for Morax, but also no clear victory, so the danger of him pushing here is banned. And SilverKronos also made a transport by now, dropping on his island, starting to make a factory to take this position. And as well as dropping an engineer here. where Morax already has one, and starting to defend this as well with anti-air turret, playing a radar. I think that's another anti-air turret. Otherwise, economy is pretty much dead. Even SilverKronos a bit more power, but I wouldn't say it's big of an advantage. He's actually having a bit too much, and continues to build some. That will hurt him a bit, because it will slow down his unit production when he will store mass for making more power. Maybe he could try to use it somehow with going Tech 2 air or commander upgrade. While Morax has less power, but he's not wasting any. And starting to do 2 mass extractors at the same time. Well, SilverKronos has already 1. But he also got to Tech 2. See how Morax will react to that. I think usually, if your opponent goes Tech 2, you should just go Tech 2 yourself, because you don't want to fight Tech 1 units for a long time. You don't want to fight Tech 2 units without Tech 1 units. And yeah, looks like it already started that I'm missing stuff. SilverKronos managed to raid here. I think it was army from the left, maybe. Managed to sneak past the ACU. I hope I'm not talking wrong things. But looks like Morax is making counterattacks everywhere right now, attacking here by passing the ACU, attacking all the mass extractors, trying to attack here, but the point defenses are in place, defending that position, and engineer already coming out of the factory to rebuild. And also here, this is very nice raiding, but it won't do big damage because the ACU can just rebuild the mass extractors. And here, that's much more hurtful, because he actually killed the factory, so it will take longer to rebuild all the mass extractors. Even so, he got an engineer close, not that bad, but it also opens up for more raids in the future. But Morax is now really going on heavy Tech 1 land spam. He's going to Tech 2, but he got a lot of Tech 1 units and restarting a big attack now. Maybe he even wants to go to kill the ACU, attempt to do this. It's certainly enough units, 30 Mantis and 60 Medusa. And SilverKronos does see that and tries to get out his ACU, sneak past all that units on the side, and putting in his own Tech 1 forces and the reinforcements. But he's giving up this position by doing so, while he would need quite a bit of mass. Also going for third mass extractor, almost done, which would hopefully solve his economy problems a bit. Even so, he's still building power while having already quite a bit much. But with a very nice reaction of pulling in his army, and Morax's army was split up in the attempt to reach that point fast. So he secured some important victory here and got a lot of reclaim that might help him coming over his mass issues a little bit, and to make the transformation to Tech 2, to upgrade more mass factories to Tech 2 without stalling mass. You will also get a little bit more mass from here. Strange that no one took the mass extractor yet, and Morax didn't take his one either. Even so, he got 2 transports, and here another transport, but he's probably busy with all his attacks. And Morax still following up with more attacks from Tech 1, really trying to use his Tech 1 forces as good as possible, applying pressure, and seeing that SilverKronos does not have as many Tech 1 units just yet, because he went a bit earlier Tech 2. And the Tech 2 units are not there yet, they need to cross all the way through the center. So the position was quite weak. Usually you defend it very well with your commander, making a point defense, but these were just too many units. So Morax has a really nice grip now here. He has not only raided it, he has really brought it under control himself. He could use his transport to transport engineers here, take the mass, even reclaim all the record battlefield, and attempt to secure that position with point defense, so SilverKronos can never get it back. and that would give him a real decisive map control advantage. He already got a little advantage with controlling this area, and even nicer with controlling all this is the strategic advantage from being in the center, where he can attack to the left and right, and he can deny the Tech 2 units of SilverKronos who would want to pass to defend to the right side when they first have to fight to get there and can't get there without any disadvantage. I think both players are still busy trying to get the high grounds. Not obtained that. I'm wrong, SilverKronos got it and reclaimed all of it. Which lead to him having a mass lead, even so he lost the expansion. And the mass lead will probably increase now, because with his Tech 2 units they were too late for the right side, but he decided to just make a counter attack instead with his own units, taking out the expansion of Morax on the other side. So both raided each other, but with now Tech 2 units incoming, ACU still being there, and a lot of point defense to make really sure he won't get overrun. Looks like SilverKronos will be able to take his expansion back, while with Morax, he can do that if he overcharges the pillars, but he will have to use his ACU for that, which is always a little bit dangerous, even so right now it doesn't look like much would happen. And he made a Tech 2 support factory in this ground, so he has a Tech 2 production here, and while SilverKronos is getting a bit greedy, trying to attack this position as well. Even so, I could have known that even without the ACU he would not be able to kill that point defense. But he realizes that, retreats, only losing one pillar, while getting a lot of reclaim here now from all this fighting, where Morax played very aggressive, and he managed to achieve some victory here, but now in the long term it didn't really pay off, because SilverKronos did get all the mass extractors back. It was rated only for about 1 minute. Now he's getting it back, and on top he will get all the reclaim. While on this side he managed to get the same damage, but he had to invest a lot less resources. He lost only 1 or 2 pillars, and now he also has a good number of reinforcements to make it really difficult for us to take it back. He's coming with this ACU, but that are quite a lot of pillars, and if he manages to build a point defense in time as well, then it will be really hard for Morax to take it back. Even with the Tech 2 factory, if SilverKronos just shifts more units. And there was also a very nice drop. I thought Morax could have tried to do that on that side, but SilverKronos actually did. Even so, it will die right now. And it looks like Morax will take it back with the reinforcements of his Tech 2 factory. Got 2 rhinos, and ACU was overcharged, and now he's dropping here the engines. Maybe they were mean for this, but by the time he made it, it was already too late. So he's just dropping it here instead. Economy-wise, SilverKronos is a little bit ahead already, mostly I think due to that mass extractor, so it should even out in a few seconds. And SilverKronos attempts to take this mass extractor, Morax not yet. Morax switching to Tech 2 power, while SilverKronos still making out of Tech 1 power. I think it would be a smart idea for him to also switch to Tech 2 power, maybe even reclaim some of this Tech 1 power if he can afford the APM. And he also got no TMD, which could be dangerous, especially against Cybermen with very good TML launchers. Morax has even 3 of them. SilverKronos took over the middle with his Tech 2 forces, and attempts to push a little bit now. And this middle position, I talked before how great it is for Morax, and also vice versa, of course, for SilverKronos will be just as good. He will be able to attack here, while at the same time cutting off reinforcements from Morax that would come from his base. So on the other side, if Morax would be able to defend this position, he can always threaten if he has too many units here. If Morax has too many units here, he can always threaten to push the base instead. So Morax is basically forced to have enough units in two spots where SilverKronos can have everything in concentrated in one place. And I think this is one of the most important parts of the map, especially later, to really try to control this area. If you can manage to cut off the stream of units to the left and the right, then you split the opponent pretty much into two halves, which makes him very weak. And also a very nice idea to get my defense here to make that easier to control it. Otherwise the game seems to have settled down a little bit. Only a little group of units on the left and right side, then sieging each other a little bit, trying to wait for a mistake or something. But only small amounts that are about equal, so no one can really attack without having to fear to give reclaim. And also intel situation is not amazing. Nice tech 1 raiders, maybe tech 2 raider would be a good idea. And actually I think I take it back, the intel situation is not bad. The tech 1 raiders are really nice, and also these raiders. I should not say such things when it's not true. And I saw this earlier already, I forgot to say it. Tech 3 switch from SilverKronos, so he did manage to survive and not get a disadvantage until he reaches the Tech 3 stage, so I think now he can pull his UAF advantage, and once he managed to build a critical amount of pass, maybe like 10 or something, then it will be get really hard for Morax to defend with equal resources. He will need to invest more to stop that. But looks like he is bringing SACU to the front, deciding to play much more aggressive here with it. While a drop incoming from SilverMorax, probably trying to take that position. Morax targeting it, and very nice drop, exactly accounted for this point defense, but no, I was wrong, he's going for the high ground. I thought it is because he got a lower in it, so he took care of the issue of that point defense, but it was close, but he managed to drop on the high ground. Even so, that point defense should stop the two pillars, hopefully. While on the right side. And the game transforms kind of into a stage where everywhere is point defense, and it's not so easy to raid with small amounts of units, and if you want to actually destroy something, you need to make a bigger attack with more units. SilverKronos slightly winning this fight, not by much, but that's enough to get the control over the reclaim here. Also have engineers close, and there's quite a bit of mass just got available here, but looks like I'm actually wrong again, and Morax did win this. It looked like SilverKronos would win it, but the rhinos are quite a bit stronger than pillars, 1 by 1, they're also more expensive. But this should make a bigger difference in these little fights. Only one rhino left, so it was a very close fight, and these incoming reinforcements should clean it up. He will still get the reclaim. He also Morax made a sector factory here, so he will also have reinforcements. And Morax still on Tech 2. I think that's a mistake. I think when he realizes Tech 3 from SilverKronos, he needs to go Tech 3 himself. Also having lots of resources, so he could easily do it. Because if he doesn't go Tech 3, then he will have rhinos against Percival's, and that's not what you want to have at all. And it's going to be really dangerous for him. And now exactly what kind of happens, what I was talking about. He got that position and now it becomes hard for Morax to move past. Even if he tries to, his army will get kind of split up and he will not be in formation if he fights here, if SilverKronos tries to attack the left side. And so he attempts to attack this instead, and since that's a bit greedy, if Morax get a good overcharge on the two Perseus, then this army could get wiped out completely. And looks like this is exactly what he's trying to do, already overcharge one Percy. And if that army dies, then there will be a lot of reclaim here that could help Morax to switch to Tech 3, maybe even get an economy advantage. I think he already might have the economy advantage. Lots of Tech 2 Mass Extractor, 12 of them in total. While SilverKronos doesn't seem to have equipped just as much, he only got 9, even so he also got all the save ones. And he's kiting very well with his Perseus. He retreated his army a bit, which is very important. If he would have lost all of that, would have really put him into disadvantage, I think. While now he really has a very nice advantage, you just need to be careful not to throw it away. And I think he just needed to push this side and he could have completely cut it off because there were absolutely no units on the left side, everything had to be on the right side. And if everything were on the left side, he could have just attacked the right side. Maybe he will do it now. And oh, actually, did he have Tech 3 before? I think he just made it. It's a bit confusing. He made 2 HQs. I only looked at that one if it's Tech 3 already. But now we have Tech 3 incoming from Morax as well. And Tech 2 air from both players, but Morax only 4 inties. He lost air control, I missed that. I realize I'm missing a lot. I thought about casting on -2 at some point, but I didn't do that yet. Maybe I should do that in the future. Because I really don't like when I watch casters miss important things. But yeah, when so much is happening, it's quite hard to do. Often I actually see a lot of things that I don't talk about because there's no time. I'm busy saying other things already. And SilverKronos still with his attempt to brute force his push on Morax. I think he could be very content with just taking it, because if he takes this whole area, then the game is basically won for him. Morax will not have enough economy to produce as many units as he will need to stop SilverKronos Perseus. I got 4 Perseus on the front now. I think Morax should maybe try to get gun, and looks like that's exactly what he's going to do to be able to overcharge the Perseus, because that's not really what you want to do, to get with your ACU close to Perseus, close enough to take damage, but it's pretty much the only thing he can do right now. SilverKronos trying to assist his attack with gunships, even though there's flags, so I think not too successful. Maybe there would have been a better use for the gunships to attack this or to fly in the back and kill Tech 2 pigeons. But Morax lost already half of his army, most of his rhinos. Now I'm going very close with his ACU. Could be very dangerous if you just get focused down from the Perseus, but I think he should be alright. He will get very fast veterancy from overcharging Perseus, and only thing that's not so nice for him is that the Perseus leave no wreckage of the overcharges, but it's still a lot of mass, also mostly from his own army, that he will get now. And he only needs to care to have the build power to actually use that mass into breaks, the stealth, and then he can try to fight back, but he needs to be really fast. If he waits too long, then this position will be finally taken out and he will be behind. So he got a little time, like a few minutes, where he can live from the reclaim now and still produce as many units as SilverKronos does with his full map control economy. But once the reclaim runs out, then, and he didn't take map control back, he would be behind en masse, and then he cannot produce enough units anymore as he needs. I think what most players do is still producing quite a lot of Tech 2, which is not great. right in my opinion. He's switching to more Tech 3 now, but you can see he's stalling, and the fact that he's producing Tech 2 units as well while stalling makes him produce less Tech 3 units in total, because they will go slower. So I think it would have been better to not produce much Tech 2 anymore. Maybe a few pillars to raid somewhere. Raiding with Percies is not great because they are so slow. And okay, SilverKronos is doing the same thing again. That's his third attack here on the ACU. I think he should wait a bit and be a little bit more content with what he got with full map control. There's no need to actually rush anything with the risk of getting Percies overcharged and then being pushed back. That was a very nice overcharge to Percies, and he's just losing his Percies that he needs to mass. He needs enough of them to really do something. But now he's losing in the 3 separate attacks. And now it's like I was talking about how Morax only has little time to get map control back while living from this reclaim, but now he got another reclaim field, so he got more minutes and more time to get his side of the map back, or maybe to just, if SilverKronos keeps losing Percies, then maybe at some point he will have enough Percies to just push in his base himself, and he could do what SilverKronos tried to do all the time, if he got enough units, but he only got 5 wrecks as well. He's not having that great amount of units, and he always will have the issue with air control, and SilverKronos being able to harass everywhere where there is no flag with gunships. You can say he got very nice amounts of flag here, and in his base not so much actually. He could lose his Tech 2 power. One by coming out, he switched to total direction accordingly to the issue of air, so this is very good. But it makes it very hard to take map control back here and everywhere. Even if you would send or drop NGs, then you will also need anti-air, and the anti-air will be slower to get there. Now SilverKronos, similar to his Percy, is trying to brute force a push and trying to brute force some damage. And while doing that, he's losing many of his units, and now he lost a lot of air units and take the gunships as well without doing much damage. Oh, never mind, actually he retreats the gunships. I didn't see them. Something died in the flag. So Morax managed to get these 2 very important battles, and also has a better position at the center. He can probably not hold it forever because he's still behind in economy, does not have as many units as he needed to have to secure that, and he also needs to dispatch units to try to take control over his expansion as well. While SilverKronos is in a very comfortable position of having much more economy and only need to produce lots of personnel and wait until he has enough. And he's also able to do it on the right side because Morax has to put everything into center and left. He can't defend all of his sides, so he's deciding for the most important side, but that also means he will lose the less important one, and it's still a loss for him. So he made a second HQ here from his first HQ. Still having this position at least with respect to mass extractors, and with all the reclaim he's actually not able to spend all his mass. Going for a Tech 3 Pigeon, I'm not sure if that's a good idea. I think the only really good thing you could do is Tech 3 Air with that, but to produce meaningful numbers of Tech 3 Air takes quite a lot, and I'm not sure if SilverKronos will give him so much time. So maybe he could win with it. And maybe he could also try with all the mass and income Monkey Lord or something and sneak somewhere and try snipe. But in that position, with already having lost all map control, and now the time window closes again, it's starting. He still hasn't managed to get map control back, and I wouldn't say that's his fault because his position was just too bad already. He tried to do it, and he did it very nicely as well. He did send flag to prevent everything getting killed by gunship, but it was just not enough. Trying with the less valuable units to make a little counter attack, but Percies are in place already to stop it. But also that's very nice to use your lower value units and the cheap ones to do some raiding, so even if it won't work, you won't lose much important things and you won't give too much. Yeah. Looks like he lost all his radar vision. More reclaim here. So Morax really living completely off reclaim for the last 5 minutes, maybe more. The SilverKronos kept giving him, but I think now it's about to stop. This is now a critical amount of puzzle wills that Morax cannot easily overcharge anymore. If he tries, then if he SilverKronos just focuses SU, then it will die very, very fast. And also that is very nice scout route. SilverKronos realizing he is winning, so the only thing that could get dangerous for him is snipe. And with that scouting, he's absolutely preventing it. He will see everything Morax is doing. So he will not spot the snipe. He will already spot it when Morax starts to prepare for the snipe, and it will give him a lot of time to prepare for that. Back to air factory from Morax. I'm not sure if he wants to go. Looks like he made the tech 3 power for the Monkey Lord, but I think he had enough power. 3 tech 2 pigeons are enough power to build a Monkey Lord, so that was rather a waste of mass, and you can see he's wasting most of that. Trying to overcharge better, and it looks like he made some really nice overcharges, but now SilverKronos managed to focus him down, and you can see how fast he's dying. There he goes, GG. So SilverKronos nicely managed to do the switch on tech 3, where Morax were a bit late to react, and then he could push map control, could push this nice position, and eventually take over the expansion, which led to Morax just bleeding out, having not enough mass to produce enough units to react. And on top of that, the Percy advantage. Morax did not manage to get any advantage in the early game with Cyber, or in the mid game with Tech 2 or some things. So it would, even with equal mass, it would have been really hard for him to deal with the Percies. The only thing he really had was his ACU, and that only works until a certain amount of time, until against limited amount of Percies. Okay, that was my little cast. I think I missed a bit much. Not sure what else to say. I think most players played quite well. Most players did try to use all tools that were available for him, Tech 2 air, and switched to Tech 2 land and later Tech 3. So it was not a one-sided game, and many attacks and counter-attacks on these 2 flanks and positions. Okay, so much about my cast. Thanks for watching, I guess. Maybe you can leave me some feedback. Maybe I will try one or few more casts. I'm not sure if I will continue. I think it depends if I'm pleased with it or not. Right now I'm not so sure. I will watch it and then see. Alright, bye bye.